So what I'm going to do in a minute, or in a couple minutes, is I'm going to pull one card for each element regarding the eclipse. However, really quickly, I wanted to talk to you about the eclipse. If you're not interested in that, you can fast forward and try to find your element card. But I did want to just talk on it really quickly because I feel like, okay, for one, I think eclipses get hyped up quite a bit, and sometimes people frame them as something scary or whatever. And I mean, some of that, of course, is social media, right? And trying to use that fear factor to get views, what have you. And, you know, you do you, that's fine. I'm not criticizing anyone. But I do feel the need to, as a Pisces, with Jupiter in my first house, right? I also have the sun and the moon in my first house because I'm a late degree Cancer rising. So my first house is like Cancer, Leo. So anyway, I'm a very optimistic person. It takes a lot for me to be pessimistic. So I tend to look toward everything as an opportunity, right? What is the opportunity here? So that whole fear factor thing kind of irks me a little bit. So anyway, I wanted to talk to you. I don't want this to be an astronomy lesson or an astrology lesson per se, but I do feel like it's interesting and important to talk about, okay? So what's happening, and this is important too, because it's happening tonight, okay? Thursday night, I mean, it depends on where you are, I guess, but I'm in the States, okay? And I'm in the Eastern time zone, so like New York City time, okay? And this eclipse is happening Thursday night into Friday morning. So in the wee hours, I think it's around like 1 to 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. It's going to be different for you if you're in a different time zone, obviously. But so the one thing I wanted to point out is if you want to view it, you have to remember that it's happening after midnight on Thursday night going into Friday, because I know sometimes people get confused because we'll say, you know, there's an eclipse on Friday and people think it's Friday night. It's actually not Friday night, it's Thursday night. Again, check your time zones and what have you. But basically right now, like when you're going to be viewing this, the eclipse is happening right around that time, okay? I'm going to do my best to upload it as soon as possible, which is why I'm only pulling one card for the elements in the interest of time. Okay, so that being established, what's happening, okay, with a lunar eclipse is that the Earth is passing, right, between the sun and the moon, and what's happening is the Earth's shadow is being reflected on the moon. So what we're seeing when the moon is eclipsed is the shadow of the Earth, okay? So just contemplate that for a second. The other thing I want to highlight is that lunar eclipses are times of closure and completion. So typically what we're looking at is putting an end to something in the past, to a way of being, to a way of thinking, etc. And with this specific eclipse, okay, we have the sun in Pisces at 23 degrees, and we have the moon in Virgo at 23 degrees. So we're dealing with the healer axis, as I like to call it. Virgo and Pisces are the healers. We're also dealing with things like being of service, counseling, all of these different realms. But healing is primarily where I want to focus at this moment. And then we're talking about 23 degrees, right? First of all, 2 plus 3 is 5, and 5 is a number of change, which I think is amazing, since that's what an eclipse is about. It's about change. And 23 degrees, I hope you're following me, 23 degrees is associated with Aquarius. So let's talk about Aquarius. Aquarius deals with things like networks, the nervous system. Some would say the collective, with humanity, right? It's also associated with liberation, freedom, and revolution. Okay? So, because we have the sun and the moon both at 23 degrees, we are dealing with some of these Aquarius elements. And then primarily we're focusing on Virgo, right? Because this is the full moon in Virgo, which is being eclipsed. So we're going to have a blood moon for those who are going to be able to see it. I'm not sure if I will be able to or not quite yet. You never know anymore with weather patterns. So anyway, with Virgo, we're dealing with things like communication, obviously, because they're ruled by Mercury, but also analysis in the details, the everyday sacredness of life, and purity. Virgo is associated with purity as well, and sort of separating what has value from what is hindering value, and things like sufficiency, having enough, right? And efficiency, not wasting things on unnecessary efforts, like we wouldn't water a dead plant, right? So these are just all of the different elements and keywords and themes that I wanted to highlight at this time, because that sort of is what an eclipse does. It highlights, it spotlights certain themes. And this is just the collective energy, right? I can't tell you exactly how it's going to impact your chart. For me, 23 degrees Virgo is my third house. Definitely, I feel like my daughter is probably, she is a Virgo sun. My daughter's probably more impacted by this than me. She also has a lot of Aquarius in her chart. So I'll have to check in with her. But what stuck out to me most in this whole mashup of energy was the fact that we are dealing with things at the 23rd degree like freedom, liberation, humanity, the collective, as well as the healing axis of Virgo and Pisces, right? With the sun and the moon being in those signs. So another thing to add to that before I get started is that eclipses echo, right? They have, like, there's a thread that ties eclipses to each other and to the different signs. I don't know how to explain this. Mercury is in retrograde, you guys, and it's happening in my Mercury, which is Aries. So, unfortunately for me, my communication skills at this moment are not on point as they should be. But what I'm trying to say is that the eclipses each eclipse resonates for a certain amount of time. And, you know, it can be 6 months, or it could even like be woven into different years, right? Because we echo back and forth. I'm not prepared to talk about the last time we had a lunar eclipse in Virgo. I'm not positive when that was, but certainly this is tied to that energy as well, right? And that's just one of the many ways that time weaves itself into our lives, into the development and changing of humanity and life on Earth. And that's all I'm going to say about that at this time. I just wanted to really quickly go over the different themes that are popping up, standing out to me. I did see the Five of Swords in my mind's eye when I was coming into the reading, and I heard the word separate. And I kind of heard it repeating, like separate, 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 separate. So obviously both of those words are important. I'm anxious to see if any of the elements get the Five of Swords. That would be super interesting to me. But I'm not really sure what to make of that. I don't want to read into it too much. Because, I mean, the connotations that I'm feeling are a little harrowing. And I don't want to, once again, doom and gloom. But with that being said, that is resonant to me with Virgo energy, right? Sort of sacrificing, like I said, what is hindering growth from the growth. Like when we prune, right? A plant, for example, we get rid of the dead parts so that we're not giving to the parts that are flourishing, the parts that are alive. Does this make sense? Like I said, I don't want to read too much into that because I don't necessarily like the roads that some certain types of people could take that at all. But certainly we are talking about humanity, the greater good, and the health of humanity, right? So let's start with the earth signs. Okay, Spirit, can you give me one card for the eclipse? All right, we're getting Temperance. Let's pull all the cards first. Okay. Can you give me one card for the air signs? Air signs for the eclipse. Princess of Wands, kind of coming out in reverse. All right, what about water? Show me a card for the water signs. Nine of Cups, kind of coming out reversed. And the fire signs, please. Let's get a different one. I don't like the way that came out. For the fire signs, please. 10 of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Certainly, with the 10 of Wands. Okay, so earth signs. You got the Temperance card, which I like for you because, once again, this is happening in Virgo. So that includes, earth signs include Virgo. And the Temperance card is about, it can be about healing. And it can be about mixing things together, right? To create something new. So sorry, my cat, my boy cat, I definitely think senses the eclipse. He's being an absolute psychopath today. So anyway, as I was saying, this is about alchemy, right? It's about taking what you're given and working it into something else. It's about making it greater, making it work for you. And it can also be about patience, which a lot of earth signs are pretty good at. I mean, maybe not with other people, but certainly I think most earth signs have patience with themselves. I could be wrong. So try to remember that, right? Especially when it comes to your own self, but also the world around you as well. Try to have patience, try to have faith that whatever is thrown at you, you can work with that and you can turn it into something better, something that does work for you. Okay. Air signs. You got the Princess of Wands, and she kind of came out in reverse. So the Princess of Wands to me in reverse would be some sort of bad news. And certainly if you are a Gemini or even Aquarius, I guess, because Aquarius is being highlighted here, this could certainly be impacting your life, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, as is Virgo. We also have Mercury in retrograde coming up, I think tomorrow it's officially starting, which could be impacting you, right? And is impacting everyone. And as far as Libras go, Libras, you're ruled by Venus, as I'm sure you know, which is also currently in retrograde in Aries, which is your opposite sign. So, again, I don't want to be doom and gloom necessarily, but there could be elements here. Some of you could be dealing with a fire sign, potentially a younger fire sign, and maybe they're disrupting you a little bit, causing problems, being immature, acting out. Certainly, you know, an eclipse can make people act out, as can a full moon, right? It just highlights these things. But for some of you, I feel more strongly that you could be getting some sort of bad news, like news that you don't really want to hear. And I'm feeling like a setback energy, like it's something that's going to slow you down, potentially cause some frustration, but I'm not feeling super strongly about it. Like, I don't think this is a big deal. I don't think it's catastrophic. I mean, this is just a page. So something about your messages, your communication, some sort of news coming in could be not what you really want, right? Now, water signs, for you, we got the Nine of Cups, which is a Pisces card. However, it did kind of come out in reverse, okay? So, to me, immediately when I see the Nine of Cups in reverse, I would, well, okay, hold on. Okay, so I would caution against arrogance, against assuming that you have something in the bag when maybe you don't. And potentially the eclipse could be highlighting something that you've overlooked. You know, could be something, could be an oversight of some sort, something you need to backtrack on. I mean, that's very much Mercury retrograde energy. But yeah, so there could be something about there, like don't count your chickens before they hatch or something like this. But another thing that was coming through as I was speaking is to be mindful of, I mean, and this is this is more aligned with Virgo energy. Be mindful of who you are giving love, attention, affection to, who you're sharing your healing energy with. The Nine of Cups. Yeah. Even in this one, it's a similar energy. She's got a table here set. Looks like a sort of celebration, right? And there's chairs. Yeah. Be mindful of who you let sit at your table, right? Not everyone is your friend. Most of us have learned this by now. I know as a water sign, right? We can be too loving. We can be too giving. We can be too self-sacrificing and too trusting. And with the Nine of Cups in reverse, that could definitely be an indicator for me that you need to be discerning about where you put that good energy, right? And I think that's all I have to say about that. I'm kind of feeling a bounce off here with the air signs a little bit. So if you do get some bad news, perhaps something that you've been wanting, hoping, planning for, there could be a setback here, because the Nine of Cups can be a card of wish fulfillment, right? So with it in reverse, I feel like this could be indicating that there's a setback. Okay. Fire signs. You have the 10 of Pentacles. This is a Virgo card. And with the 10 of Pentacles, right, we're talking about, well, this man looks quite old and tired. So I just kind of felt the need to point that out. But we're talking about legacy, right? We're talking about building a life that is abundant enough that you can then pass it down to other people, right? To your family, to your children. And I mean, this does talk about family, children, right? This talks about, it can talk about your community, even whoever you have around you. But it can also talk about wisdom, right? It can also be talking about locating secret knowledge, or like finding wisdom and answers in, I don't want to say hidden places, but overlooked places. In a way, this card can carry a little bit of mystique and mystery for me, especially the way it's presented here, right? Because once again, this is a Virgo card. And on the Hermit card, he is often carrying this lantern. I can't speak. He's often carrying this lantern, which is representative of his light, his wisdom, that he is shining down upon the greater world below him, right? After climbing to this mountain, after sacrificing. So I'm feeling Hermit energy with this man who sort of looks like the Hermit to me. So there's something here about you needing to either share wisdom or acquire wisdom, okay? That's really what I'm feeling here. Certainly some of you could be focused on your abundance, on your finances, on building that legacy, etc. But the overwhelming sense I'm getting is about sort of a collection of wisdom that either you need to pass out to the world or that you need to gather. Okay, I'm sorry I don't have more clarity on what that means or what that's talking about, but that's the message I'm feeling here for you. Did I mention that I'm pulling a collective oracle? I'm pulling a collective oracle from the Shaman's Dream. All right, then we're gonna see what it says, and we're closing it out. Spirit, for the collective, please. Oh, Okay, hold on. All right, we're getting 2 cards, guys. I'm just going to go. Oh my God, that's amazing. First of all, at the bottom of the deck, we have card number 36, which is a 9, which is a Virgo number, lost in space, needing direction. And she's literally like holding the earth, and it looks like the moon over here. How amazing is that? And this sort of reminds me of like the Virgo, the maiden. Crazy. But the cards that are actually coming out, okay, skywriting, the fates, and there's the moon, right? Card number 49. And then this one, jeweled web connectivity, card number 32. Very Aquarian to me. It's actually the reverse of 23. So I love this. Blowing my mind with the synchronicities. Let's read these. I wasn't planning on reading 2, but I'm going to read 2. I'm going to start with skywriting. Okay. So this card talks about the fates, that which we cannot change, and non-judgment. It is written in the sky that you have a destiny. You are being invited to explore certain aspects of life unique to you and you alone. This does not mean that your path will be easy, paved with gold, and littered with diamonds, nor does this predict that your journey will be treacherous. It is just your path, with parts that cannot be changed and must be radically accepted as they are. In this way, whatever you are faced with, every single aspect of your life is perfect in its imperfection. Not good or bad. Neither in flow nor blocked. This nor that. See your life as a series of opportunities rather than an obstacle course. Once you master the skill of non-judgment, you open to the power of curiosity, unencumbered by the burdens of yesterday's fears as you look ahead into the potential of the future. Yes, you still need to be brave. Right now, you are facing a critical moment in time with an opportunity to meet your fate, a choice point where you expand your influence and your capacity for abundance, love, and purposeful action. Now is the moment to leap into it, whether it be a heart connection, a call to creativity, or a new identity in your work or another area of life, with all your heart and soul. Your success is surely written in the stars. In order to bring your destiny to fruition, you must jump into the adventure with both feet and do your part. Yeah. I'm laughing. In case you skipped over my babbling at the beginning, I said that I tend to see life as opportunities. Whatever comes as an opportunity, not an obstacle, not anything else, except an opportunity to address and change and make work in my favor, which is what I was telling the earth signs as well with the Temperance card. But yes, eclipses are often a choice point, as the book here said, right? It's like a fork in the road. We're leaving behind, we're closing something, we're completing something. And I have a feeling that it has something to do with a way of life in humanity, right? How we give, how we service, how we take care of ourselves and the planet. Okay, and this amazing heavy Aquarius card to me. The jeweled web, connectivity, no separation. Holy shit. The feeling state. I heard the word separate, 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 like echoing in my head. And this is saying no separation, right? Yes, because we are all connected. And that is very Aquarius, right? Like the nervous system is like, in a broader sense, the connectivity of all human beings. I'm dying, you guys. Okay. Approaching any oracle requires you to come in with certain expectations. You're either looking for confirmation of what you already know or attempting to shed light on what eludes you on the obvious path you're on. You're asking whether you will reach a desired goal of some kind. You're rarely able to see beyond memory or projection, and so naturally, everyone comes to the oracle with a narrow perception of what's possible. Imagine that the answer to your question is not about landing at a particular destination, meeting a goal, connecting to a special lover, reaching an end game, or experiencing anything specific. Instead, you discover a shimmering web of jewels you didn't know existed. The world is interconnected in a living web of energy. It isn't possible to know how any of it works, but know this: what is in your highest good is a sparkling jewel that lights up for you among this web of possibilities. You just need to know how you want to feel and choose this consciously. Take your focus off getting anywhere. Practice feeling and being in a place where your desired experience has already come to pass. Who will you be when this is true for you? Can you be that now? Can you feel that now? Practice that. The better you know your path within this web of life, the more it will light up for you. It is celebrating you already. Yeah, that feels very Piscean to me too, actually, because, and we did get the Nine of Jars, which is Pisces energy, and it's very much about like being in the energy, right? Others would say it's delusion, but the reason that Pisces is often so magical and lucky is because we can actually put ourselves into an energy, right? We can take on that energy and we can visualize the reality in the future and then thus create it. I don't know if that makes sense, but I wanted to add that in. That's what I have for you guys. I hope something in here was helpful or informative to you, and happy eclipse season. I will see you next time.